Have you ever poured your entire heart into a gift, sacrificed everything you had to give it, traveled across a great distance to deliver it personally, only to have the person you love take it from your hand without looking you in the eye, toss it into a pocket, and immediately turn their back on you to speak to a stranger? The pain of such indifference is sharper than hatred. It is a cold, suffocating silence that says, "You do not matter to me." We often wonder what breaks the heart of God. We imagine it is our great sins, our wars, our violence, or our blasphemies, and certainly these things wound his sacred heart. But there is a specific, intimate pain that Jesus revealed to Saint Faustina, a pain that occurs not in the streets of the world, but inside the sanctuary of the Church. It happens in the most holy moment of our lives. It happens when we receive Holy Communion. Is it possible that the Creator of the universe, the King of Kings, feels lonely inside the human heart, according to the revelations given to Saint Faustina? The answer is a devastating yes. Jesus spoke words to her that should shake us from our spiritual slumber. He said that many souls treat him as a dead object. They receive him, the living God, and treat him like a piece of bread, a ritual, a thing to be consumed and forgotten. This is not a message of condemnation, but a desperate rescue mission for your soul. Jesus is calling out because he is standing at the door of your heart, inside you, knocking and finding no one home. He wants to give you miracles, strength, and an ocean of peace, but he is bound by our indifference. Before we enter into the mystery of these visions and the tears of Christ, I invite you to open the door of your heart right now. Let us create a sanctuary of attention and love in this digital space. If you wish to comfort the heart of Jesus today, if you wish to tell him that he is a living person to you and not a dead object, please go to the comments below and write these simple, powerful words. Jesus, I trust in you. And if there is a loved one, a child, a spouse, or a parent who has lost the sense of the sacred, leave their name there as well. We will place them in the rays of his mercy, asking that their hearts be awakened to the living presence of God. Why is this topic so difficult for us to grasp? It is because we live in a world of noise and sensory overload. We are trained to value only what screams the loudest. The smartphone in our pocket vibrates, and we jump. The news cycle screams of disaster, and we pay attention. Our worries about money, health, and status shout in our minds constantly. In the midst of this deafening storm, the Eucharist is silent. It looks like a wafer. It tastes like unleavened bread. It does not vibrate. It does not shout. It requires the eyes of faith to see the fire hidden within. And because we are creatures of the senses, we often fail this test of faith. We walk up the aisle, we extend our hands or open our mouths, and physically we receive the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. But spiritually, we are miles away. We are thinking about the parking lot. We are thinking about lunch. We are thinking about the person sitting 3 rows ahead of us. We treat the living God like a vitamin pill, something we swallow for our health while we go about our real lives. But Jesus told Saint Faustina that this indifference is a tragedy that halts the flow of his grace. He wants to be the real life. He wants that moment of communion to be an explosion of intimacy. Let us look at the first profound encounter where Jesus unveiled this sorrow. Saint Faustina was a mystic, a woman who saw behind the veil. One day, Jesus opened his heart to her regarding the souls who receive him in the Eucharist. His words were recorded in her diary, entry 1447, and they are heavy with the grief of a rejected lover. He said to her, "Oh, how painful it is to me that souls so seldom unite themselves to me in Holy Communion. I wait for souls, and they are indifferent toward me. I love them tenderly and sincerely, and they distrust me. I want to lavish my graces on them, and they do not want to accept them." Listen to the tenderness in that complaint. He is not the angry judge here. He is the waiting father, the longing bridegroom. He says, I wait for souls. Imagine Jesus, present in the tabernacle, counting the minutes until Mass, eagerly anticipating the moment he can physically unite with you. He has gifts prepared, specific graces for your anxiety, your depression, your family struggles. He has them ready in his hands. But then, he continues with the most heartbreaking imagery. He says, "They treat me as a dead object, whereas my heart is full of love and mercy." A dead object. Let that phrase sink into your conscience. What do we do with dead objects? We use them, we move them, we ignore them. A stone is a dead object. A coin is a dead object. A dead object has no feelings, no consciousness, no ability to love or be loved. When Jesus enters our bodies in Holy Communion, he is fully alive. His heart is beating. His mind is conscious of your every thought. He is looking at your soul from the inside. But if we receive him and immediately turn our internal attention to the trivial things of the world, we are treating him as if he were not there. We are acting as if we swallowed a piece of bread and nothing more. In entry 1385, Jesus elaborates on this pain. He says to Faustina, "I arrive in the human heart in Holy Communion, but the heart is empty of love for me. Consider the tragedy of this scene. The King of Heaven leaves his throne. He humbles himself to the form of bread. He enters the humble, broken vessel of a human being. He arrives, looking for a place to rest, looking for a conversation, looking for a return of love. And what does he find? An empty house. The lights are off. The owner of the house is mentally absent, wandering in the marketplace of their own distractions. Jesus continues, "I cannot bear to be in such a heart. I leave it quickly." This is perhaps the most frightening revelation in the diary regarding the Eucharist. I leave it quickly. What does this mean? We know from the teaching of the Church that the real presence of Jesus remains in the Eucharist as long as the species of bread remains. Once the host is digested, the physical presence of Christ ceases, though his grace should remain in the soul. But when Jesus says he leaves quickly, he is speaking of the spiritual opportunity that is lost. He is speaking of the intimacy that is aborted. He wants to linger. He wants to rest in you. He wants the moments after communion to be a time of deep union where he can repair the damage in your soul. But if the soul is cold, distracted, and empty of love, the divine guest is not welcome. He is pushed out by our indifference. The miraculous exchange that was supposed to happen, his strength for our weakness, his peace for our chaos, does not occur. We leave the church exactly as we entered it, burdened, afraid, and unchanged, not because Jesus was powerless, but because we treated him like a dead thing. Let us go deeper into the vision. Faustina did not just hear these complaints. She saw the reality of the Mass, and her visions serve as a corrective lens for our spiritual blindness. On one occasion, recorded in the diary, Faustina saw the child Jesus during the Mass. He was not a static statue or a painting. He was alive, vibrant, and radiating joy. When the priest held up the host, she saw the infant Jesus stretching out his little arms toward the people. This vision emphasizes the personhood of the Eucharist. It is not an it. It is a him. It is the same Jesus who walked in Galilee, the same Jesus who wept at the tomb of Lazarus, the same Jesus who bled on the cross. When we approach the altar, we are not approaching a ritual. We are approaching a person who knows our name. Faustina writes that often. After receiving communion, she would feel the physical beat of Jesus' heart within her own. She would enter into a profound silence where the outside world ceased to exist. In those moments, Jesus would reveal secrets to her about the future, about the state of souls, and about the depth of his mercy. You might say, "But I am not a mystic. I don't see visions. I don't feel a heartbeat." That is true for most of us. We walk by faith, not by sight. However, the reality remains the same. The lack of sensory experience does not change the truth of his presence. In fact, Jesus told Faustina that the merit of our faith is greater when we do not see, and yet we believe and adore. There is a stark contrast presented in the diary between the dead object reception and the reception of a soul who loves. In entry 1447, after complaining about the indifferent souls, Jesus tells Faustina, "In order that you may know at least some of my pain, imagine the most tender of mothers who has great love for her children, while those children spurn her love. Consider her pain. No one is in a position to console her. This is but a pale image and likeness of my love." He uses the image of a mother. A mother lives for her children. She feeds them, clothes them, watches over them. If her children were to ignore her, walk past her without speaking, or treat her like a piece of furniture, her heart would break. Jesus is telling us that his love is even more tender, more visceral than that of a mother. He is vulnerable in the Eucharist. He has made himself helpless, placed himself in our hands, subject to our schedule, our chewing, our digestion. He has surrendered his power to be close to us, and when we ignore him, we trample on that vulnerability. But let us look at the other side. What happens when we do pay attention? What happens when we treat him as a living person? Faustina writes in her diary that when she received Holy Communion, she would often say to Jesus, "You are the King of my heart." She would invite him to take the throne of her soul. She would visualize her heart as a chapel or a garden, and she would invite Jesus to walk in it. She would speak to him about everything: her struggles with the other sisters, her physical illness, her fears of failing in her mission. And Jesus responded. He said to her, "My daughter, you are my delight." He told her that in a heart that loves him, he finds a respite from the wickedness of the world. He said that a single Holy Communion, received with love and trust, is enough to sustain a soul through the greatest trials. There is a specific promise attached to this attentiveness. Jesus told Faustina that if a soul prepares for his coming and speaks to him after communion, he will perform miracles in that soul. I desire to unite myself with human souls. My great delight is to unite myself with souls. When I come to a human heart in Holy Communion, my hands are full of all kinds of graces which I want to give to the soul. But souls do not even pay attention to me. They leave me to myself and busy themselves with other things. They treat me as a dead object. He wants to give all kinds of graces. This means that the answer to your marriage problem, the healing for your addiction, the peace for your anxiety is waiting in the few minutes after communion. But the transfer of that grace requires a connection. It requires a receiver. If the line is cut by distraction, the grace remains in his hands. This brings us to a terrifying reality that Faustina witnessed: the spiritual warfare surrounding the moment of communion. The devil knows the power of the Eucharist better than we do. He knows that if a soul truly connects with Jesus in that moment, the soul becomes dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Therefore, the enemy does everything in his power to distract us exactly at that moment. Have you ever noticed that the moment you return to your pew after communion, your mind is suddenly flooded with distractions? Suddenly, you remember an urgent email. Suddenly, you notice someone's outfit. Suddenly, you feel an itch, a worry, a rush to leave. This is not an accident. This is a calculated attack to prevent the heart-to-heart conversation that Jesus desires. Faustina saw the demons fleeing from the soul that carries the living Christ, but she also saw them lingering, waiting for the moment the soul becomes distracted again. If we leave the church immediately, rushing to our cars, turning on the radio, we are doing the enemy's work for him. We are extinguishing the fire before it has a chance to warm us. So how do we stop treating Jesus like a dead object? How do we console his heart and unlock the graces he is dying to give us? The diary offers us a practical path, a rescue plan for our Holy Communion. The first step is preparation. You cannot treat a guest with honor if you are surprised by their arrival. Jesus told Faustina that her preparation for communion should begin even before she entered the chapel. For us, This means preparing our hearts on the way to Mass. Turn off the radio in the car, stop the gossip, begin to say, Jesus, I am going to meet you. I am not worthy, but I need you. Faustina would often pray, Jesus, transform me into yourself. She would acknowledge her poverty and emptiness. She didn't pretend to be perfect. She simply opened the door. The second step is the encounter. When you receive the host, make a conscious act of faith. Tell yourself, this is God. This is the living person of Jesus. Do not let your eyes wander. Close them if you must, to shut out the world. Walk back to your place with the reverence of someone carrying a king. The third step, and this is where the dead object syndrome is cured, is conversation. Do not recite generic prayers immediately. Jesus asked Faustina for intimacy, not just formulas. Talk to him. Say to him, Lord, you are here. You are alive in me. I love you. I adore you. Then tell him your trouble. Jesus, I am worried about my son. He is far from you. I place him in your heart right now. Jesus, I am afraid of the doctor's appointment tomorrow. Hold me. Treat him as you would a best friend who has just sat down next to you. Jesus told Faustina, talk to me simply as a friend to a friend. He does not need poetic language. He needs you. He needs your attention. The fourth step is thanksgiving. This is the quarter hour of silence. Do not rush out of the church the moment the priest says the Mass is ended. If possible, stay for just a few minutes, or if you must leave, maintain the silence in your car. Jesus said, I leave quickly when the heart is empty, but if the heart is full of desire, he lingers. The sacramental presence may pass, but the indwelling presence of the Trinity deepens. Saint Faustina once wrote, I felt that God was so close to me that I had no words to express it. I wanted to be silent and to love. That is the goal. To be silent and to love. There is a beautiful story in the diary where Faustina felt incredibly weak and ill. She didn't have the energy to pray long prayers. She simply received communion and said, Jesus, you know how weak I am. I can do nothing without you. And Jesus replied to her with immense love, telling her that her misery was the very reason he came to her. He loves to descend into our poverty. This is the key. You do not need to be a saint to treat Jesus as a living person. You do not need to have a theology degree. You simply need to recognize that he is there. Imagine for a moment the next time you go to Mass. The priest elevates the host. The bells ring. Heaven opens, though your eyes cannot see it. The angels, thousands of them, according to Faustina, bow down in trembling awe. Then you step forward. The King of Angels is placed in your hand or on your tongue. In that moment, you have a choice. You can be the empty house, the distracted soul who treats him like a dead object, causing him to weep and leave quickly. Or you can be the sanctuary of mercy. You can be the one who says, Welcome, Lord, I am here. I am listening. If you do this, you will dry the tears of Jesus. You will be the consolation he seeks in a world that has forgotten him, and in return, he will make your heart his throne. He will give you the strength to endure the unendurable. He will give you a peace that the world cannot take away. Let us return to the image of the rejected lover. Jesus has traveled from the heights of heaven to the depths of the altar. He has crossed the abyss of sin and death to place himself in your hands. He is looking at you right now with eyes full of hope. He is asking, will you talk to me? Will you recognize me? Or am I just a dead object to you? Let your life be the answer. Let your next communion be the answer. As we conclude this reflection, remember that this is not just a story from the past. It is happening today in every church around the world. Jesus is arriving in hearts, and he is finding many of them empty. Be the exception. Be the soul that comforts him. Let us close with a prayer of reparation and trust, a prayer you can say right after your next communion to ensure you are treating him as the living God. My Jesus, I believe that you are truly present in my heart. I adore you with all the angels and saints. I am sorry for the times I have treated you as a dead object, receiving you without love or attention. Forgive me for my coldness. Today I open the door of my heart wide to you. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. I give you my worries, my fears, and my sins. I trust in your love. Stay with me. Abide in me. Let my heart be your resting place. Jesus, I trust in you. The world tells you that you are alone. The world tells you that matter is all there is. But the dead object that the world sees is the living heart of the universe. He is closer to you than your own breath. He is waiting. Do not leave him alone in the sanctuary of your soul. May the mercy of God awaken us all from our indifference. May we never again treat the source of life as a dead thing. Go in peace and prepare your heart for the King who comes to you in the humble disguise of bread. Now consider the practical application of this for your upcoming week. The Diary of Saint Faustina is not merely a book of history. It is a manual for the end times, a guide for how to live when faith is growing cold. Jesus told Faustina that she was to prepare the world for his final coming. How do we prepare? By recognizing him now in the Eucharist, so that we will recognize him then in his glory. There is a subtle danger we must avoid. The danger of routine. Routine is the enemy of love. When you kiss your spouse goodbye in the morning without looking at them, that is routine. When you say, I love you, without feeling it, that is routine. And when we receive communion because it's what we do on Sunday, that is the deadliest routine of all. Saint Faustina fought against this routine with spiritual acts. Before Mass, she would dedicate her communion to a specific intention. This is a powerful way to keep your heart engaged. Don't just go to Mass for yourself. Go on a mission. Jesus, I offer this communion today for my son who has lost his faith. Jesus, I offer this communion for the soul in purgatory who has no one to pray for them. Jesus, I offer this communion for the grace to forgive my enemy. When you have a mission, you are alert. You are not a passive recipient. You are an active participant in the work of redemption. Jesus loves this. He told Faustina that he loves when souls take by violence his graces, meaning when they ask with bold confidence and specific intent. Furthermore, we must address the physical aspect of our reception. We are body and soul. If our body is casual, our soul tends to be casual. Saint Faustina treated the host with supreme physical reverence. Whether you kneel or stand, whether you receive on the tongue or in the hand, as permitted by the Church, the internal posture must be one of falling flat on one's face before God. Ask yourself, does my body proclaim that I am holding the Creator? If you receive in the hand, do you look for the smallest particle? Saint Faustina writes about her guardian angel accompanying her to the altar. Imagine your guardian angel standing beside you. Would you carelessly handle the Lord in front of a being of pure light who trembles before God? The restoration of reverence is the first step to the restoration of faith. And what of the leaving quickly that Jesus complained about? In our modern parishes, the parking lot is often a scene of chaos minutes after Mass ends. We rush to restaurants, to sports games, to our couches. We are terrified of silence. But Jesus speaks in the silence. Challenge yourself this week. After Mass, do not turn on the radio in the car for the first 10 minutes. Let the car be an extension of the church. Carry the silence with you. Say to your family, let's just be quiet for a moment and thank Jesus. It might feel awkward at first, but you are training your soul to hold on to the treasure you have received. You are telling Jesus, you are welcome here. I am not rushing to push you out. There is a hidden promise for those who live this way. Jesus told Faustina, I am not only a queen, but also a mother of mercy. But he also speaks as the King. When you honor the King in the Eucharist, he honors you. He begins to change your character. You will find that the things that used to anger you, the traffic, the rude co-worker, the messy house, lose their power to disturb your peace. Why? Because you carry the Prince of Peace within you, and you are conscious of him. You are no longer a hollow shell, you are a living tabernacle. The dead object becomes the living source. Think of the saints. How did they become saints? Not by doing extraordinary things, but by doing ordinary things with extraordinary love. And the most ordinary, extraordinary thing we do is receive communion. It happens every day in every city. It is the most common miracle on earth. If we stop taking it for granted, if we stop treating him like a dead object, we will become saints too. We live in a time of great spiritual confusion. Many people have left the church. Many say they don't get anything out of Mass. They don't get anything out of it because they are not putting anything into it. Specifically, they are not bringing their hearts. They are bringing their bodies, but leaving their love at the door. You have the secret now. You know what makes Jesus cry, and you know how to dry his tears. The next time you see the priest elevate the host, look at it and say, I see you. I love you. I will not leave you alone. This is the call of divine mercy. It is not just about reciting a chaplet at 3 p.m. It is about a relationship with a living person. As you go about your day to day, keep this phrase in your mind, living person. Look at the tabernacle in your church and say, living person. Look at the crucifix on your wall and say, living person. And most importantly, when you receive him, let your heart shout, living person. Let us end with the words of Saint Faustina herself from a moment of high mystical union. O Jesus, hidden in the Blessed Sacrament, my only love and mercy, I commend to you all the needs of my body and soul. You can help me, because you are mercy itself. In you lies all my hope. May this hope burn brightly in you. May you never be the same after hearing the complaint of Jesus. The rescue mission has begun. It starts in your heart this Sunday at the altar of God. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you.